So we're going to start the session out with some downtime because people had a lot of things they wanted to do at the end of last session, and we were kind of rushed at the end.
Yeah.
How much downtime do you guys want? Like, I can hit the fast forward button, and we can take care of whatever needs to be taken care of pretty much anywhere on the continent.
I had a if we're still by the dream people, I had a dream idea for Zook. I don't know if we'd want to do that now or not.
Now is a good time to do it because you're still at Zrazak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I gotta cut out for like 5 minutes.
I'm gonna make some coffee.
So go ahead and do some downtime stuff.
Okay.
Okay.
So
Well,
we'll
this is just
start out here at Zrazak.
All right. Because I have a Zarazak thing I want to do, and I also want to try to send this cursed dagger back to my contacts at some point when I get to that range.
Okay.
But yeah. Well, do you want me to just go ahead and tell you my dream idea?
Yes.
Okay. So this is related to the sort of character development I've been kind of working on Zook, where Treasured isn't necessarily holding the same, hold on him that it used to. It's it was always sort of a means to an end. He would always go after the shiny to keep his adventuring ways up, and now that he's kind of drowning in platinum and adventuring for different reasons, it's changing a little bit. So Zook had a dream the other night.
Okay.
And in this dream he's alone in a crypt or cave of some sort. He's looking around. He's very obviously looking for treasure. He's kind of back into his old mode. This feels sort of like before this adventure began to him in his head. And wall, secret door, something slides open, and he walks into a room, and it's like basically Scrooge McDuck's vault in here. He walks in, and there's just gold and treasure and jewels, and he's like, holy crap, this is amazing. And he runs in, and he starts trying to scoop this gold up. But as he picks up the gold, it runs through his hands like sand. And he can't get a grip on the gold. He can't get a grip on the jewels. Whatever he does, it just slips through his fingers. He can't get it into his bag. And he starts to get worried, like, what is going on? And a hatch opens. Literally, in the dream, a hatch opens. But instead of the goblin popping out, gold starts to flow into this room. And now he's drowning in gold as it fills up this room, and he wakes up right when the gold starts to come over his mouth and his nose. Wakes up in a cold sweat. And that's his dream.
Okay, so you request to have the dream analyzed?
I mean, I think it's pretty obvious, but I think in character Zook would go in and say, like, oh, holy crap, I had this dream. And get it analyzed by the Flumphs.
Well, in that case, they take you into the meditation chamber, which I believe was number 18, right? Right here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yes.
take you into the meditation chamber. Yeah, they light the incense. They fill the room with the hallucinogenic smoke. The Flumphs come in, begin swirling around above your head. Same procedure as before. And
What kind of noises do they make?
they make little poop noises. They fart to fly around. That's canon. That's not me being a joke. That's
That
That is canon.
that's
and Dreamseer, the I guess leader isn't the right word, but the main dream reading Flumph meets you with Ferdak in the monastery the following evening. And Ferdak tells you that he believes that your dream means that you will always find as much gold as you desire. As much physical wealth as Zook searches for, he will find. And if it's your wish, you can literally drown in it. You could have so much wealth, more wealth than you could ever spend, more wealth than you would ever need, and inasmuch as wealth is power, more power than you could ever wield. He says, but the dream, I believe, represents that the more wealth you find, the less fulfilled you will be. He says you will never reach a point where you have enough. The more you seek it, the more you will want it. And the more you have, the more you will need to feel fulfilled. And then he asked for a donation of 300 platinum pieces.
Zook does not have 300 platinum pieces. What does he have on him? Does he actually ask for money?
No, you all have provided such a great service to the monastery and the people who live on the mountain already. No, you all have been very esteemed guests the whole time you've been here.
Are we... Do they have any pearls?
They have any pearls? They do not.
Can I,
You have a pearl. You have a pearl worth 150.
I have a pearl. That's not enough pearls.
Can I get them to actually help me make some tuning forks for plane shift?
What?
Sure. Who do you ask?
Let me get my notes in front of me. The Githzari.
Fairdak?
The obvious. Yeah, Fairdak.
Do you tell him why you want these tuning forks?
Oh, because I'm going to start using a plane shift spell somewhat regularly, and I'm going to need forks to go to the various... I realize it's somewhat limited here, but at the very least, the ethereal plane, the material plane, and if he has any information about those elemental planes that I believe are bordered by this world.
He cautions you.
Planes.
And he tells you that in my training, I used to have the ability that you seek. The ability to step between planes using what you would call magic. He says, but in this place, it will not suffice. It will not function for you. He says, you can travel to the echoes of Trennis. You can travel to the places that touch this plane, but you may find that they are more hostile than you are accustomed to, wherever you came from.
Now, I've been to the ethereal plane. I'm quite aware of that. In fact, I'm considering that almost entirely as an offensive option.
Okay. The monks probably can't make what you're looking for, but... Give me 1 second here.
I know a dwarf that you saved from the dead.
Yeah, the blacksmith kind of owes you one. I was just trying to look up his name. Thordrin. Thodrin could probably do the metalworking required. He was planning on melting down Polonius Mock's armor to reclaim the steel, and he could make you. He could fulfill this request for you, basically. It would take. I have no idea how long it would take to make tuning forks, but yeah, you can get them made while you're here on the mountain. You can go ahead and add those to your sheet.
Okay. So I'm going to say material, ethereal, and what else?
What he's saying is, with this spell, you could probably reach the ethereal, the Feywild, or the Shadowfell.
Okay. They don't have... I can't use it for ethereal travel?
You could, but it's excruciatingly dangerous.
Understood.
And he does not know.
Plane.
He does not know how it might interact with the astral plane.
Okay.
And without going into specifics, because I don't think Tarin would know the specifics, but I mean, I know that you know that the astral plane functions differently for primes and planers.
I don't expect. Yeah, I also wanted to have one made for the material plane because in case my cloak goes off and I don't have a good way back.
Okay. But you need a teleportation circle for that, don't you?
No, that's the whole point of having plane shift is I can use it to change planes.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. So go ahead and add those 3, material and ethereal.
Yep.
And then what about replacing my armor?
He can make
is worthless.
He can make new armor for you. Yeah, the armor you have is beyond repair. But it would take a great deal of time. I mean, it would take weeks of work. You'd be on the mountain for a long time, which is fine. I mean, like I said, you guys can take all the downtime you want.
Well, I mean, Tarin has some experimenting to do, and part of that will be... Should I just try that now?
What are you going to try?
Can I tell you my insane plan?
Of course, yes, please, tell us the insane plan.
So I'm going to cast Fly and Armor on myself.
Okay.
I'm going to fly upward until I have at least 3 rounds of falling. I believe falling is 180 and then 160.
Okay.
And then I'm going to activate my cloak, shift into the ethereal realm, and then plane shift back to a different place in the material realm.
To find different place.
I'm going to start off by trying to plane shift near Garreton. And I can only do this once a day, so I'll tell you guys I'll be back tomorrow, assuming I survive.
How much detail do you give us?
So is he thinking of... Is he trying to think with portals? Because that is crazy town.
Plane shift lets me kind of announce roughly where in the plane I'll arrive. I mean, it's not like guaranteed. That's why I'm going to be flying and armored.
Aldo says, pick me up some milk and pearls.
Oh yeah, if you want to give me money, I can get you some pearls.
You should teleport into the ship and get us some pearls.
So, you use your cloak to go to the ethereal.
Flying like 600 feet in the air, yeah.
Okay. And then you use your...
And then I
use
cast
your plane ship
shift.
spell
Yep.
to go where?
To return to the material plane targeting Garreton.
Garreton's a big place.
What?
I mean, I'm
sorry, what was that?
My read of the spell is that the more specific you are, the better your chances of getting there.
Oh, I thought it would just put me, like, within, you know... I thought it was basically the DM can kind of fuck with you and put you in the area. I'll appear 1,000 feet above the High Temple, if I'm allowed to be more specific.
And you do. You shift away from the ethereal. And you see far, far below you the layout of the village of Garreton.
Awesome. I'll fly down and do some shopping.
Okay. What are you buying?
I need to put it in order to get myself suited for another breastplate. I want a wooden shield this time, goddammit.
You're gonna actually make me open up that first edition module again and to make...
How many hats can he buy?
This is important.
Also, is our boat in the harbor?
No, they're out being privateers.
Yeah.
No,
We're heroes.
No, and the news in the city, news in Garreton is that very shortly after you guys left for Caer Tyrell, like maybe a week after that, the Honor sailed off.
Do you want? I mean, I'm just gonna buy stuff from the player's handbook. I'm not gonna buy anything fancy. So.
I don't want to dig through all the notes to look it up, but I know that in Garreton they're going to charge you a markup. So whatever you're going to buy from the player's handbook, add a 10% markup.
Let's just go to Caer Tyrell then. I'll do the same thing.
I was going to say, why do the shopping in Garreton?
We fucking saved Garreton, and they're going to charge us a 10% markup.
Most of the people in Garreton don't know that you saved it.
This is why we can't leave places. You need to let me do my fucking PR.
Actually, you know what? No, I'll go to Kiska.
Kiska? Okay.
Distance is no longer a concern to Tarin.
Now,
wow.
So you're gonna do that tomorrow because you can cast that spell once per day?
Yeah, that's a daily spell, so I have to stay a night at the end.
Is that your Mystic Arcanum?
Say hi to Abraham. Yeah, that's my 7th level Arcanum.
Okay, what was 6th?
The gate.
Okay. So back on Zrazak. From your point of view, it looks like Tarin just flew into the air and never came back.
Oh, yeah, when Tarin's not back the next day...
I'll do ascending as soon as I arrive and tell Eldove everything worked fine. We'll travel to Kiska tomorrow.
Eldove, do you tell the rest of us or let us think he died?
Eldove replies in 35 words or less. He's just like, that's awesome. Don't forget the pearls.
Now, maybe I shouldn't tell you this, but in the interest of full disclosure, every time you shift to the ethereal plane, I'm going to roll percentile. And I'm not going to tell you why I'm rolling percentile, but I'm going to roll them.
Oh, yeah.
Which reminds me, I got to get my dice. They're not even in this room. I'll be back in 1 second, guys. Who wants to take next downtime? Think about what you're going to do when I come back.
Well, shit. I feel like I don't have anything to do anymore. I'm going to just tell Tarin to fucking go do all my shit for me. Well, Tarin will probably think it's awesome.
Did we divide up the party goals last time?
Zook is still vocally... Oh, Jesus Christ. That was him rolling to find out what happens to you, Tarin.
Yeah.
Zook is still kind of vocally upset that they didn't find that plant hydra that killed his buddies.
Oh yeah, we should go hunt that down.
Yo,
given
McDohl.
what Ben told you last week, that plant hydra monster would be dead by now.
because it didn't make its way. Since we didn't see it in the forest, the belief is it didn't make its way back to the forest, so it probably died.
The way Ben tells it is that the forest would produce monsters. The monsters would be unable or unwilling to do any hunting on the mountain, but they could not survive outside of the forest for long. So just by cleansing the forest, you probably prevented all future Hydra attacks.
That's good.
But yeah, Arik brings up a good point. You guys have this tract of land that you are in charge of.
Yeah.
We should probably go check that out.
I mean, is there anything that what do you guys want to do with that?
We could retire there after we kill Gendrig.
We could.
How shitty is this land?
You haven't been there. From what you understand, I mean, at Eldove, you'd be familiar with the area of the world it's in. I mean, it's cold but fertile. The reason it's not settled right now is because it's so far from other civilization. Any settlements in that area are very quickly brought down by goblin raids or whatnot. So I mean, you could make it a profitable place.
Plan? What's our current plan, guys? Well, forget that. Like, it's our responsibility. Eldove's going to want to build the place up, regardless.
Okay. The current plan is to travel to Lake Fenifar.
Why, though?
To chase down the lead that you guys found from the Wizard's Tower.
Yes.
The goggles, the glasses that can read anything.
Is there anyone living on our land yet?
No.
Okay.
That would be, if you wanted to build it up, you would have to do something to attract settlers to come out there.
Well, so here's the thing. I think Eldove would find it irresponsible to attract settlers to that land when we have no intention of dealing with it for any extended period of time.
Right.
In the near future.
Well, so now that Tarin can teleport...
Even so.
No, I'm saying that'll make it that if we wanted to go develop it, it would make it easier for us to establish over there. I don't know how much he can carry while he teleports, but he could help us with supplies.
I mean, and if you're going to go there to do construction, supplies would be easily had in the area. You would have a stone quarry, you'd have forests to fell for wood, you could build near a river, and you have the resources there. It's just it's not developed yet.
Mm-hmm.
If anyone asks this, like, to the group, if we're talking about it as, in character, Duke would be totally fine with going to a place. I mean, that would he'd feel pretty at home going to a place in the forest and trying to build it up. If that's kind of where Eldove is going with this idea.
Right.
The way Eldove is thinking about this right now is he very much wants to go build this up. His family doesn't have any land. He really wants. This is what he wants to do very strongly, but he also feels like it would be irresponsible to do so and ignore our other responsibilities. So as long as we have something like a solid lead.
Well, that's why I'm offering you guys to take as much downtime as you need. Like, if you guys say, hey, we want to start doing this and put the investments there and take 6 months of downtime to do it, I can just hit the fast forward button and we can just describe what you've built and work from there. I mean, you guys have the ability to communicate and travel back and forth between this place pretty freely.
Yeah.
So
here's the other thing: is that Eldove is going to be very easy to convince that this would be something that we should do. So if someone could come up with some reason why it would be a better idea to do this than to go talk to a wizard.
Well, I mean, you're still going to go talk to the wizard. That's still happening tonight. Your options are do that immediately or hit the fast forward button on 6 months of downtime.
He doesn't know that nothing's going to happen in the next 6 months.
I didn't say nothing would happen. I said we would fast forward through it.
Yeah.
At the end of 6 months, Zook has 3 heads.
Yeah.
So, I think Zook's main thing right now is he wants to unload this fucking cursed dagger. He thinks that it might be something that his the Guild of Shadows may be interested in. So, but right now he doesn't have any means of getting it to him because I'm pretty sure there's no contacts to the guild at the monastery that he's been able to sniff out.
No, but you'll be able to. I mean, during downtime, you can travel to Caer Tyrell. You can travel to Dunfoss. I mean, you have options.
Okay.
I mean, the amount of travel between here and your next destination, you can, like I said, you can you could like march directly there through the wilderness the whole way. You could send a message to Balin and say, hey, we're going to come back via Garrett and have the ship ready for us. You could travel to Garreton and then take the road north to Dunfoss. I mean, you have options how you want to travel.
Mm-hmm.
Orphan is going to ask, I mean, if, assuming that we are going to be developing this stuff, which I don't know, is that the plan or not?
Tarin would totally be down for it.
Yeah, I think we're leaning that way.
Okay.
Khalil has no opinion one way or the other because his loyalty is to Kiska, and this is, a thing. So
I bet McDohl does, though.
So basically,
no.
as long as we don't start war with Kiska, Khalil is okay with it.
Absolutely.
What is Khalil's mission right now for Kiska with us? Is he still just keeping an eye on him, or
I
what?
have two things. It's first the guy who's translating the stuff back on the ship.
Yeah, that guy.
Once he's done with that shit, Khalil's killing his ass. There is no.
Tarin no longer has a problem with that, though I don't know if you brought it up with him.
And now, and the other thing is to deal with Gendrid on behalf of Kiska, so that's why he's here.
So during this construction project, because Orphan has really no interest in staying in one place for like any extended period of time, so what she would do is ask Tarin if she can be given command of the Adric's Honor, because she wants to go sailing and exploring and privateering.
Tarin actually was really seriously considering making her this first mate anyway. Like I'd almost thought that he might be doing that next time we're back on the ship. So yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, or just like acting captain or whatever.
If you want to be promoted to first mate, and then you'll be in command when I'm not there. Since given that Tarin will be all over the place if we have a lot of downtime. So.
All right, yeah.
Wait, I don't know, man. Is that really fair to our current first mate?
That isn't the fairest thing in the world to Balin, though.
We should probably come up with something to don't get me wrong. Orphan's going to become the first mate.
Yeah.
But we should probably come up with something to make this a little bit easier on Balin.
What if you make Balin the the honorary captain, and then make her his first mate, so to speak?
Well, because she wants to be in charge of where they're going. I mean, she's fine with privateering and stuff, but she's interested in giving the ship directions.
Why don't we make you ship's owner? Because you have no sailing experience. You pretty much have no business being captain.
Right.
But you, as the ship's owner, you would have the distinction of where to go.
Yeah,
that's true. Yeah, so if you want to turn the deed to the ship over to me.
I have a deed to the ship?
I don't think you do, actually.
We can draw one up.
I mean, you have a ship's charter.
Yeah, we have the charter, but no, I don't think we actually have any paperwork saying Tarin owns it. It's just, if you say otherwise, you have to mess with Tarin.
It's something we inherited.
How would the crew respond to word that Orphan, because Orphan was part of the player, the party anyhow.
Yeah, she was an officer on the board.
If Orphan was dubbed essentially Captain Tarin's envoy, so she represents Captain Tarin on the ship. Balin is still the first mate, but when Orphan is on the ship, she has the full authority that Tarin would have. Would the crew respect that, or would that lead to mutiny?
I'm not going to tell you. You're going to find out.
I feel like we should talk to Balin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, do we want to go back to the ship and regroup? Is that what it sounds like we want to do?
Yeah. I think the way we're going with this now. Tell me if I'm wrong, everyone. Is we're going to travel to this plot of land. We're going to build it up over the course of not 6 months, but a year, because I'm going to build a goddamn teleportation circle. And meanwhile, Orphan's going to go on sweet pirate adventures.
Okay. Well, then let's take that one step at a time then.
Prior to when we leave, Khalil would want to make peace with this blacksmith before he leaves.
And he still doesn't like you, but he respects your contribution to what was done to cleanse that forest.
Okay.
So, that's about as good as you're going to get with him.
Are you still evil?
Yeah.
Because I know you changed some shit. Okay, still evil.
He worked through his flaw and replaced. I haven't looked at Khalil's new flaw yet. Let me look at that real quick.
Also, I guess before we leave the mountain completely, the only other thing that Zook would be interested in doing is, well, first of all, is the appearance that the forest is completely restoring? Like, we can see that happening
Day by day, more and more of it is becoming uncorrupted. Most of what's happening in most areas of the wood is that the corruption was so deep that all the plant life is just dying. Instead of being this horrible twisted vines and roots, the plants are just dying, and they're not sure whether or not the soil will eventually become healthy again and grow new plants or new trees or whatever. But having the dead plot of just bare earth would be better than having this poison wood.
Okay.
Yep.
The exception
Has Captain
is...
Planet shown up yet?
Yeah, that's what we did last session. You all were Captain Planet, you put your rings together.
Yeah.
So
The exception is the petrified tree, which becomes greener and greener by the day.
Cool.
does if Zook, I think Zook would want to kind of have like a final meeting of sorts with Ben, because they felt like he kind of bonded with Ben and they suffered a great loss together.
As soon as Ben is recovered, he's gone.
He's gone.
He leaves word that he went off on a journey to recruit new rangers for the mountain. He's getting old. He's not going to be here much longer. And both of his previous understudies were eaten by a giant plant hydra. So as soon as he recovers, he wastes no time. He heads off into the wilderness looking for new recruits to take under his wing.
Speaking of new rangers, what are druids in this setting? Because I feel like... Okay, because I feel like it would be very easy to recruit a druid to come check on this forest. They would probably find that pretty interesting.
Well, how does Eldove go into researching that? Like, what would he know about druids?
I don't. What does anybody in this world know about druids? Let's start with that.
I don't know, because the question's never come up before.
My
Probably,
backup character is
unless
Sand Elf Druid.
Eldove has a contact who was a druid, you probably wouldn't have an easy way of getting a hold of one. But during the X amount of downtime that we're about to go through, I would say that if Eldove spent the time to look into it, he would be able to find someone if that's what he wanted. So,
Eldove is actually not gonna go to that much effort, but if there's any knowledge about druids at all in this world, like that's public knowledge,
yeah,
Eldove will just kind of speak out like, "Hey, there's this forest that's trying to recover."
Public knowledge
next to this monastery.
It's kind of like with wizards. Like, they exist, but there's not really enough of them to have a consensus that you could say, "Hey, all wizards are blank."
Alright, so he's just gonna kind of put out the information into the world that, hey, there's this recovering forest that's near this monastery. If someone wanted to come check on that, it would probably be a valuable thing to the world.
Okay.
Can Zook do a nature check on the forest to see if he believes it'll recover completely?
Yeah, don't bother, because I already gave you all the information. It looks like most of the forest is just going to die away, just leaving the bare earth behind. Whether or not they'll be able to replant, it's too early to tell. But the one tree that was petrified instead of corrupted gets greener and greener by the day. You're not going to see it recover completely unless you stay at Zarazak for a long time.
Is the impression that we get that it was spared from dying because it had been petrified before it was corrupted, basically?
The impression you get is whatever you take away from my description of it.
Okay,
is that tree magical?
It was not.
And who gives a fuck? It's a tree.
Yeah. I didn't know if there's anything special about that tree. Okay.
So
I think I'm done with the mountain and the forest.
we travel back to the Adric's Honor. It's been a while since we've looked at the ship, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it's like coming home again.
It's been a minute.
So
People-
my plan was to... Okay, go ahead.
On the ship, like, one thing happens immediately. As soon as you guys, I'm assuming you guys like send a sending to them, like, hey, we're gonna be in Garreton, why don't you meet us there, or whatever.
Tarin was actually planning to do his new plane shift trick and find out where they were and then bring the ship back himself.
Oh, so he's gonna land there before us. Nice.
Okay. That happens in Dunfoss.
Okay.
So let me roll some percentile here.
You never reach
As always,
Dunfoss.
I'm flying 1,000 feet above.
I'm actually gonna roll them
floor.
twice because Tarin's never been to Dunfoss before.
Okay.
Okay.
And I have armor up, so I cast armor and fly before I go, and I'm
You end
plane
up at a
shift 1,000
similar
feet.
location, an area important to Eldove.
Does anybody in Dunfoss know that you're arriving?
Well, I've sent a sending ahead of time to Balin to find out where he is and let him know that I'll show up around noon the next day. Look to the sky.
Do I know you're going to the ship?
Probably not at this point.
Okay.
So you arrive in Dunfoss. It's gonna be a couple days before the ship shows up. Where do you lodge?
Oh, okay. At that point I'll send a sending to Eldove and ask him to recommend a good inn. Tell him I'm in Dunfoss.
Eldove responds, "Why don't you check in on my family house? We'd love to have you stay there, and I could frankly use some news from home."
Okay.
And I'll just give him directions. There's a townhouse in the center of the nobles district. It's a smaller house, but it's kept up well.
In fact, Eldove might be happy to see what I did for him. You might like this, Eldove. Give me a second.
All right.
Edit the map.
It's just a pile of shit you can burn.
Your house is made out of wood.
Oh, he loaded a map.
Dunfoss.
Oh, snap,
Whoa.
son.
Oh shit!
Hey, there we go.
It's like fucking Venice.
I didn't draw this map. I found it. Thank you, Google Images, but it looks pretty swank.
That is a
It's
pretty nice
very
place.
Venice,
pretty
yeah.
Wow.
Eldove is
Well,
happy to
Dude,
be
let's
from
go
here.
to Dunfoss.
Yeah.
Like, I originally thought of Dunfoss as like this, like, not quite Viking, but kind of like a Nordic. That's where I got all the names of those characters from. But then I saw this map, and I'm like, no, this is better.
Alright, so here's the thing. It's not right here, because it's not on the goddamn corner of Kobold and Goblin.
That's right. We have street names here. We have Sturge
do we
Street.
really?
We have Puppet Maker's Lane. There's Fish Rock
Oh my-
Road.
Oh my god.
Dude,
That's
where can I
amazing.
buy hats?
I'm sure this map was part of a module or something, but I have no idea what.
This is a
Nice.
super detailed map, and I
It
want
is.
to play the game it came from.
It is very much not on the corner of Kobold and Goblin, so let's get that straight.
Tarin, you arrive
Yes.
at the townhouse Eldove directed you to.
Is it on Stink Gutter Way?
It is not on Stink Gutter Way.
I not.
I bet it's on Frog Wallow Street.
Before I go, I'll
Frog
actually make
Wallow,
sure to-
maybe.
Hey guys,
I'll make sure to have spent some time cleaning myself up, getting the stink of adventure off me. Wearing my noble's outfit as somewhat, I'm actually wearing it. I've got my signet ring out, all that fun stuff.
okay. And there's no answer at the door, and somebody on the street, as you knock, comes and tells you that the lady of that house is gone.
Gone? Sorry?
She went off on she's traveling. And nobody's sure quite when she'll be back. Or what the nature
What?
of her business is.
I'll cast sending to Eldove. Your sister appears to be traveling out of town. Seems like there's no one else in the house. Respond 25 words or less.
So do you break into the house and...
Well, I'm gonna see what Eldove says.
Eldove says break into the house, find out what's going on.
Okay. Is there a second floor window or anything? How big is it? How tall is it?
2-story townhouse, very modest. Let's actually place it on the map here. Let's see. What's the funniest place to put it?
Squid Street, Squid Street,
see,
Squid Street, right there.
What is with this fucking sound? Like, what
Dead,
the fuck?
Dead Dog Alley looks pretty fun.
Dead Dog
No,
Alley.
it's not.
Oh, yeah.
Oh
Goddamn
nope,
Dead
nope,
Dog Alley.
nope. Weasel Lane.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah,
there.
Weasel Lane and
I
Weird
was gonna
Street.
be-
Yeah.
I was gonna be nice and say they lived on Spice Street.
That's actually really
Over-
good. That's a really good location if you're in the shipping business. Look at C5.
Over near Landowner's Lane.
I don't know. You can put your house wherever you want, Eldove. It doesn't really matter that much. I haven't developed this location at all like I did for Kiska because we're not going to do a full adventure here yet. But
What the who named this town? Shackle Street? Grit Street? What?
Dude, it's Ratcatch Way.
There's a Ferret Street and a Weasel
So anyway,
Lane.
my plan is to wait until nightfall.
okay.
Cast fly. And
Oh,
go into a
never
second
mind.
Story window.
It's obvious which house is Eldove's. Let's be real here.
Oh God.
It's
Where
right
at?
there on Gold Street.
Oh Jesus!
Gold
course.
Street. Where's Gold Street?
Over
It's
here.
next
Oh,
to
okay.
Mead Street.
Where we all are.
Oh,
And-
that's
See, now here's the
Obviously.
thing. Eldove's. That's not a house. It's like a temple or something, dude. You don't live in this.
I
Yeah.
live in there.
See, I'm betting that Eldove lives in this house here. Like, his actual address is Silver Street, but it's close enough. He just tells everybody it's Gold Street. That's how I'm picturing Eldove.
Yeah.
So yeah, you go into the house.
Zook is swimming in the bay.
The inside of the house, it looks like the top floor hasn't been used in a while. There are rooms in this house that have not been occupied for what seemed like a very long time. It's also somewhat empty. There's very little in the way of furniture or decorations. I mean, how in-depth do we do the investigation?
I mean, Tarin has nothing better to do until the ship gets back.
Yeah,
So.
I mean, are we rooting through underwear drawers? Are we breaking into locked cabinets? What
He
line
told me
won't
to
he cross?
investigate and find out. I'll try and do anything non-destructive I can. But he told me to find out what happened, so that's what Tarin's going to do.
Amateurs.
You find a room that you know to be Eldove's because you walk in and it's the most flamboyantly decorated room in the house. Everything in the room is covered with a layer of dust. I mean, clearly nobody's been in here for a long time, not even to clean. Down the hall from that room is a room you surmise to be Eldove's sister's room. Did she have a name?
Yeah, we did find a name, and it was terrible.
Oh, yeah, I remember now, but I don't remember what the name was.
Yeah, I remember it being. I just remember it being terrible.
Okay.
Let's say it was Samantha.
For now, it's Samantha.
Investigating this room, I'd have to check my email because I know you emailed me the backstory and everything. But
no, one second. Oh yeah, that's right. I have it written down right here. Vilsis with 2 Y's.
Oh, that's okay. That's pretty bad. That's pretty bad. So, Tarin, you find a suicide note in her room that says she has such a terrible name she can no longer face reality. Goodbye, cruel world. No. In her room, you find correspondence. You have to break into a desk that you do not have a key for. I mean, you have to take a crowbar to it to pry it out. And inside a drawer in this desk, you find a stack of correspondence. Let me take a look at your character sheet real quick. You do not know what language it's written in, and you're not familiar with the script either.
Okay.
It looks like somebody has gone through the process of selling the valuables from the house. When you go more in-depth, it looks like you could functionally live here. The kitchen is still stocked. It's very clearly still a noble's residence. There are many comforts here, but it also looks like a great deal of things have been liquidated for one reason or another.
Interesting.
How recently?
It's hard to say, because, I mean, you had Humberth check in on her, I forgot how long ago. That was a couple weeks ago.
That fuck said he was going to take care of my family.
Where is he?
No,
Yeah,
Humberth is in the castle.
I will, before I go to bed that night, I'll cast Dream, so I have 8 hours I can talk to. I'll wait for Eldove to go to sleep, and then we can have a dream conversation for 8 hours over the state of his affairs.
Okay. And Eldove, you have a dream. Tarin's sitting there, wearing leather assless chaps, playing with his nipple ring.
That is the best.
The same dream you have every night.
Right, Eldove does not recognize the difference between this dream. So
and I will do my best to try and reconstruct in the dream the scripts from memory.
You can't.
Okay.
Not without a photographic memory. You wouldn't be able to.
Fair enough.
It's possible Eldove could read it. I don't know what.
I read a lot of bullshit things.
You do. I mean, I'm not going to give you the answer to the question until you actually put the letters in his hand, but...
Okay.
You find a lot of valuables, too. I mean, the house is not bereft of wealth. I mean, Eldove has always told you his family was in good standing. They haven't been very wealthy for a long time. But you do find, coin, jewelry, fine clothing befitting a lady of her status. Eldove has more shoes than you've ever seen a man own in your whole life. He has 2 closets in his room, and one of the closets is just for shoes. And you're pretty sure it opens to a pocket dimension, to the shoe world.
Elemental plane of shoe.
Well, see, here's the thing: is
Actually,
I was trying to learn the shoe language, so I had to.
Actually, I'm sorry. I'm pretty sure shoe is quasi-elemental.
Quasi-elemental plane of shoes.
The quasi-elemental plane of shoes, semi-real.
So the house is not bereft of wealth, someone could live here very comfortably, but... And, I mean, you have no real basis for comparison of how this woman lived, because you've never met her before. You only have what Eldove told you about her. I don't know that he's told you very much at all. So, you're not really sure how distressing this situation is.
I mean, I've got 8 hours, so I'll describe the place in detail to him.
Okay.
Alright, well, Eldove is concerned, but not frantic, because the fact that the place isn't completely looted implies that...
Oh, no, it has not had... There's no evidence at all that it's been looted. There's no evidence that it's been broken into, or that anything's been stolen. But some of the items that... Like, I mean, you... Over the course of your 8-hour conversation, you ask, hey, what about my mom's, you know, like dresser, like her ornate oak wood, whatever. And things like that are missing from the house. Things that you know your family treasured, like, because they didn't have a whole lot of wealth. They clung to the things that they still had as nobles. And some of those things are missing. Things that you know your sister would never sell.
Okay, so chances are she's somewhere else, but
yeah,
Eldove does not know why she would leave.
I mean, as soon as we're in the same physical location, I can cast Dream on you. You can talk. Oh, I've never met her. Damn it! I hate the way that spell works.
So yeah, news on the street is that the lady of that house is traveling, and nobody's sure of her destination or when she would return. Do you make any inquiries at the castle? Where is the castle?
Eldove makes inquiries at the castle. He's got a friggin' sending hotline every single night.
That's a nice little castle on its little island there. And, I mean, Humber's reply, as always, is short, to the point, and the gist of it is that every time he's sent people to look in on your sister, everything has been fine.
So
Fine.
He's surprised that she's not there?
No, I mean, he got word that she was going to be traveling for a while. But he didn't see the importance in passing the information on to you. He didn't see this as being particularly noteworthy. I mean, nobles in Dunfoss go traveling all the time. She may be off visiting friends 2 cities over. Nobody knows.
Okay. And, no one knows where she is?
No.
Including him?
Including him.
Okay.
Nah, Tarin will just hang out in Eldove's place until the ship arrives at this point.
Okay, I mean,
I think you should try on all of his shoes and his pants that you can find.
all of the pants are really tight in the crotch. You think this man must have the smallest genitals in the world. It's like he must be a Ken doll down there.
So, yeah, I don't really have any ideas here. Like,
let's get on the boat and we can go find your sister.
Before much longer,
we're not just gonna travel the world. Like
the Adra's Honor arrives in Dunfoss. Tarin, you get on the ship. Right away, there's been some changes made. Ka, the transcriber, the prisoner, is no longer in chains. He has been drafted into being a fighting man aboard the vessel. And you're told a story about how very shortly after they sailed from Garreton, they, the Honor engaged with a rather notorious pirate. That they thought if they could bring down this pirate in Dunfoss waters, they could get a lot of renown for it. Regardless of how good the take was, they would get... The rumor would be going. They'd make a name for themselves. But they bit off more than they could chew. This pirate ship was very well armed. Had a lot of marines on it. One of them got the idea to fight below deck, open the brig, and try to turn the prisoners in the brig against the crew of the Honor. The only prisoner in the brig was Ka. And so they freed Ka. They put a sword in his hand, and the first thing Ka did was run it through the pirate. And immediately began fighting for your ship. And after that, Balin tells you that he did not have the heart to put him back into the brig. So he's been sleeping in the quarters ever since. And translation on the book is complete.
Well, I will take the book and add it to my personal gear.
Okay.
Translated.
Fuck you, Brick.
Balin didn't have any problems with him. I mean, he did stab a man to death.
Balin
in chains.
Balin is well, first of all, he's groveling. Like, he is beside himself with apology that he sailed the ship without your permission. It was actually Swent's idea.
I thought it was a good idea. I almost many times thought to contact you in your dreams and tell you to do it, but things kept me busy.
He tells you, would that you would have, Captain. I could have put my mind at ease. But after that first almost sour engagement, they did a lot of good works. And as far as anybody knows, Ka has been serving loyally the whole time. Okay. In fact, they actually gave him a hook. You know, like pirates have?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Oh, because I was like, wait, did he
We
lose
cut
it?
off his hand.
Oh, yeah, you guys cut off his hand.
That's right, I delivered that hand. That was good times.
So,
wow, so Ka's pretty cool, and it would take some kind of real asshole to want to kill him now.
Some kind of real asshole.
Only a real douchebag.
So the rest of you, do you all travel to Garreton and have the honor meet you there, or do you all travel overland to Dunfoss? Garreton is much closer. It must let's travel for you. Dunfoss.
What are we hearing from Tarin?
Yeah,
Because
what's Tarin telling us to do?
I guess I'll do ascending to Eldove. I mean, I think here. So Tarin arrived, talk to them. Back at helm of ship, meet you. You coming to us, or should I sail the ship to Garreton? Respond 25 words or less.
What are the days on that? Like, if we go to Garreton and they go to Garreton, or...
Yeah, here, I don't have the actual travel time, but I will pull up the map of the world here.
If I remember right, it's shorter for us to go to Dunfoss, I think.
I don't even know where we're at anymore.
That's the old map. I'm so disorganized. I don't even know if you can organize Immigrant.
Files?
Like, can I make different folders or what? I don't know. I haven't. I'm too Web 1.0 for this new brave world of ours. Yeah, here's the map. I'm gonna load it up here. Probably should have had this one loaded in the whole time, I guess. Makes more sense. Okay.
Well, no,
so,
we have to see
how would we
Dunfoss,
have known
which is
I
really
lived in
freaking
Gold
rad.
Street?
So we're
traveling
at
from
Zrazak.
Zrazak to Garreton
Uh-huh.
would be less dangerous. Traveling from Zrazak to Dunfoss, like, it looks like it's pretty much equidistant, but traveling to Garreton, you mean you could travel along the river. Traveling to Dunfoss, you'd have to kind of walk through no man's land.
What is Staghorn Falls?
Staghorn Falls is a village that one of the NPCs at Zrazak mentioned to you that is probably never going to be important to the plot.
The fat dudes.
I think we should walk through it and fight a bunch of people.
And where's
there.
our parcel of land that was awarded to us?
That would be like here-ish.
Okay.
So why don't we just walk there, and he can meet us there?
Well, because you can't sail to this because it's inland.
Yeah, we'd have to.
Yeah, that's my
I
first
think
question.
Garrett
I think Garreton is probably the better idea.
Okay.
But Dunfoss is so much cooler.
I know it is, but
We
there
can
eventually.
sail to Dunfoss after we get the boat. It's not a big deal.
Fine.
Can we just get a ship and then sail down to Garreton? Like a tiny little
like
raft?
over the river. A
Yeah.
riverboat?
Nobody
Yeah,
has one
riverboat.
in this area. You'd have to have one constructed. Like, there are no riverboats that service this remote monastery way up in the mountains.
See, that is poor planning.
Part of me wants to go back to that tower and scoop up all of those grenades.
If we had a riverboat, we could do that.
That's true.
So, however you guys manage to do it, y'all get back aboard the ship.
Okay.
If you go through
Interesting
Garreton,
anymore.
the first thing that you learn is that there's a new Assassin's Guild that took up place there.
oh fuck.
Everybody's been assassinated. Okay. So you guys get back onto the ship.
Even Linus? No.
So Orphan is placed kind of like acting captain?
Yeah.
Do I have that right? Okay.
Yeah.
And
And she'll be relying heavily on advice from her first mate, Balin.
okay. Which is good because
Or doesn't have a shell ship.
and there are some murmurs about that. I mean, particularly Balin himself is. I mean, remember he was one of the members of the Old Guard. I mean, you're a Tiefling and a woman besides to be placed in a position of power over him on a ship that he's been serving on longer than any of you. But I mean, if he's having a moment of crisis or whatever, he swallows it. He serves relatively. I mean, he serves faithfully, dutifully, What is done with Ka when you immediately get back? Translation's done, but Balin, without any permission or any wherewithal from Tarin, has given him a place amongst the crew. He's not at the level of a Marine, so he wouldn't be at the level of like Hespu and them, but he is an able crewman. He's been working hard. He has no desire to go back to Romneus.
Is this open to the table, or is this specifically Tarin right now?
It's y'all's ship.
We're all on it.
If I ask Tarin, he's going to defer to you guys anyway, so... I mean, it's ultimately his decision, I guess.
If anyone asks Zook, Zook is of the opinion that he did us a solid. It sounds like he did the ship a solid, and they let him continue fighting. I mean,
Eldove barely remembers who he is anymore.
Eldove has a very personal stake in who he is, because he is one of the assassins that killed your prince's sister-in-law.
That's not...
He's still a commoner.
That's barely close enough.
Khalil has a personal stake because Ka is the reason he's on the ship. Eldove, whether it's personal for him or not, is his decision. But if he doesn't meet justice out on this man, Humberth is going to want an explanation.
No, Humberth said it was fine.
Humberth said it was fine?
No, I remember we had this conversation with him, and he said that as long as the guy was being useful, that we didn't have to kill him.
Then there you go.
Yeah.
You don't have to kill him.
Tarin has no problem with him on the ship as long as Orphan's keeping an eye on him, because he doesn't entirely trust him.
Orphan wants him alive because she's going privateering and she wants all the able-bodied fighting men she can get.
Okay. Let me make some rolls real quick for you guys. Hold on one second.
Khalil is not happy.
As far as I remember, the conversation went
because it's good.
Humberth barely cared about this his wife's sister being killed.
True.
The marriage was mostly political. Like, let's be honest.
Yeah.
For what it's worth, Khalil, Tarin also is not entirely indifferent to just executing the fucker.
Orphan. Throughout their couple months of privateering up and down the coast, minus the expenses of repairs and replacing ammunition and whatnot, the ship has pulled in 202 gold pieces profit.
Okay.
If he's being overruled by the rest of the party, then Khalil will defer to the rest of them. However, Khalil will have a private conversation with the man to the effect of, okay, so I've been overruled on putting you to the sword, but know this, that one step backward, and you'll not find my mercy very appealing.
You better not murder any more princesses. I'm being serious about this.
This is your last warning.
That was your last princess.
Ka's response is kind of flippant, borderline defiant. Something along the lines of, well, you're not the captain, and this isn't Kiska, so your authority over me is basically nothing.
Okay.
Just strike him down.
Hang on. Non-proficient weapon, so no proficiency on this, just strength. Just to deck him in the fucking face. That'd be my proficiency bonus is 4, or my strength bonus is 4, so 16 to hit.
No, I mean, he's a commoner, dude.
16 to hit.
He doesn't have an AC.
I will lay him out.
Actually, I do have his stats somewhere because he was in combat once. See, you deck him.
Yeah.
And he picks himself up off the floor and wipes the blood away from his lip. Then he just shoulders past you and heads off to the mess hall.
That seems fair.
Wonder why the dwarf didn't want to make you any armor. You're kind of a dick.
That's his.
Here's this prisoner who's helping us, and we took his hand and everything, and then you just decked him. That's not cool, man. Not
we
cool.
did take his hand.
You did.
He should have thought about that before he tried. He was like, "Hey, you know what? This sounds like a great idea. Murdering a princess." Yeah.
Okay.
So Brick.
Yeah.
So that 202 gold, is that you call that profit? Is that like what I get after everyone has been paid out, or is that
no?
To be split among?
That's what the ship took. Balin used part of their prize for repairs and whatnot. They had that one big ship they tried to attack very early on that kind of went south a little bit. So after that, they were sticking to smaller vessels that they knew they could take. And so the actual prize that's been taken is not massive, but like Humberth has been telling Tarin or Eldove rather, the ship's been doing good work, keeping the waters clear.
And in between privateering and attacking pirate vessels, Orphan would have wanted to pay ports a call to like whatever islands or places she hadn't been to yet, just so she could see new things.
Okay. So, is everybody else traveling to your new duchy out here?
So here's the thing. I think that Zook, because we're talking about taking like a year or something, right?
Or however long you want to take to get this
A
built
year
up.
is the minimum, yeah.
So I think Zook would want to. He would ask Orphan if she'd be willing to port at Kiska and let him take care of some business, and maybe let them resupply or whatever they want to do there, and then he'll sail around till she can get him back to the new land. The idea being, Zook basically wants to check in with the guild, see if there's anything for him there, and then he'll catch up with the rest of the crew at the new land.
How is Zook going to get back?
He could charter a ship.
Okay.
I mean, yeah.
Can we out of character? Can we divide up the stuff we have sitting in party loot right now? It's all gold at this point.
Yeah, you can.
And a single item of treasure.
I mean,
We have a lot of treasure, but Eldove has it all because he hasn't identified it yet.
There's still a lot. I've got.
You guys left, and then Eldove found all the treasure.